I would like to welcome Mariana and Geeta in the conversation on the role of the forest in active aging. So I give you the space and you can start with introducing yourself.
Thank you, Lisa, for this presentation. I have the absolute pleasure to be here with Mariana Carreira from the Alegria de Viver Foundation. Mariana is the accessibility expert for the second population we worked in Portugal, which is the population of the older adults. So Mariana is above everything someone who has a very deep longing for taking care of people and making sure that they have a good quality of life. She is a business manager, trained in business manager, master in finance, a master in aging. And after 14 years of working in Make-A-Wish Portugal, making wishes for people who need to have their wishes fulfilled, Mariana created Alegria de Viver and has been leading it in a very good way. Mariana, tell us a little bit about the work of Alegria de Viver and about the importance of active aging.
Okay, well, thank you very much to be here today with all of you, with all the amazing work that all are doing. Well, Alegria de Viver, it's quite new. We started in 2022, and our main mission is to work with communities to combat the loneliness and social isolation, providing an improvement in quality of life, comfort, and moments of joy for older people, encouraging them to have a long quality life, and always in an intergenerational environment. Our main vision with Alegria de Viver, we would like to create communities where nobody feels alone and where it's never too late to make new friends and enjoy social interaction. This is the vision that we are building with Alegria de Viver. We now, in our community, we work every day with more than 135 people that has between 60 and 99 years old, and I think that the impact that we are having with them is that they never feel alone. They know that someone is helping them when they need it. And if they, we have a small house here in Lisbon, and where they can they can talk with us and ask for something. And you would like that I explain for us what is the importance of the walking
Yeah, I think before that, if you can, I'd like you to paint a picture of what is the reality of aging, maybe worldwide. In our conversation earlier, you told me you had some numbers from the World Health Organization. I think it's important for people to understand the impact of isolation and the impact of loneliness in this period of life, so that we can then, make the bridge to the importance of this nature connection work.
Okay, and perhaps I can speak a little bit about Portugal, about demographic numbers. I think you know that Portugal is the second oldest country in Europe, and now we have 188 old people for 100 young people. 23% of our population has more than 65 years old. And we have at least 500,000 person with more than 65 years that are living alone or with someone with the same age. There is a study here in Portugal where they report that 91% of old people that feels loneliness, feel that no one, they have days and sometimes weeks where they don't speak with anyone. So it's urgent to try to solve this problem, not a challenge, it's a real problem, because loneliness, for some data that WHO provides, loneliness can increase the risk of death by 25%. 25%. The loneliness can increase the suffering of dementia by 50%, and cardiovascular disease by 30%. These numbers are awful, and it's urgent to do something to combat loneliness. And there is another KPI that compare the impact of loneliness with the smoking. The impact of loneliness in our health, or even in our mortality, is comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes per day. And it's more harmful than obesity and no active life. But at the same time, it's proven that stronger social relationships can increase the life by more than 50%. So we need to solve this.
As I'm hearing you share these numbers, Mariana, I was reminded of the first walk that we were in the urban park, in the botanical garden, very near to where the House of Alegria de Viver was. And in the first time we gathered, I invited everyone to hold their hands. Do you remember?
And then...
Yeah. And it was such a beautiful moment because it felt so innocent, and the sense that I got as a guide was that there was a remembering of something, of a way of being, of a way of connecting, that there was so much nourishment just underneath those trees, holding hands and remembering also, because in that garden they used to play in that garden as kids. Do you want to talk a little bit about how that impacted you and what you noticed there?
The people that are at Alegria de Viver live near our house and near that garden where we made the first walking, one of the things that they report is that with these walkings, they remember the life when they are younger when they play in that garden, and when they plant or they do gardenings, and I think it was the walking made them remember good moments of their life, because they feel connecting with the floor, with the earth, and they feel relaxed and emotive, dealing with their hearts. So they report, and they remember, and they speak and share things about the past. No doubt about that. It was amazing. Yes.
Another thing that I noticed is also a remembering not only of their own journeys, their own childhoods and how they used to be in nature, but I witnessed a lot of cultural stories, cultural shared stories that surfaced. I remember one time we found some milk thistle which is that plant that they is used to make cheese, no, to make the coagulation of cheese, and how much wisdom was shared amongst them. You want to speak a little bit to that?
Yes, in all the forest walking that we have done, they share a lot of knowledge about all the plants, all the trees that we saw, and what they feel that they can teach to the youngest people that we had in the walking to the people that work at Alegria de Viver. They were proud that they know more about that all of us, even me. I don't know anything about I would like to know and learn more, and they always share stories, share knowledge about the trees, about the flowers, and what they used to do with that, the story that Geeta told you, and what we felt in all the walkings is that they became more real. I don't know how I can explain, but they feel so relaxed that they are completely true in everything that they speak. They are
Authentic, more authentic.
Authentic.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And Mariana, and like tying this to what you were saying before with because the numbers you shared about the impact of isolation and loneliness are quite strong, to think that something that is so prevalent in our culture today, not only with the older adults, but also in younger people. What do you feel, knowing these populations, seeing them every day? You have a team of psychologists and social workers that work with you, that speak with these people every day and try to meet them with the need, basic living needs, but I think more emotional needs and that support. What do you feel? What did you observe that this work of slowing down in nature, this relaxation that you observe, connecting with the senses in a very simple way? Before we had a conversation with the team that worked with the psychiatric patients, and I think we arrived at this point that the simplicity of just slowing down and smelling a flower. What do you see? How does it work? What do you notice?
I think that they narrow the bridge around them. They feel more engaged with each other, and it's a way to improve the relations and build community. They feel part of something bigger. They feel that they have not only a relation with the environment, but a stronger relation with each other. And after the walk, they share, they speak with each other, and I think they strong the relation with them, above all around them. Yeah.
Very interesting you say that, because in our previous conversation, that was also true. And I think it's been true for every single population that we've spoken about today here in this conference. So I think this is an important takeaway for people who will carry on this project forward, with the educational materials that are being produced and with the work that has been created.
The strong team building. It's a way to try to be more close to each other, with no frontiers. Yeah, I think it's no doubt it's stronger their relationship.
And I think it's also interesting that we can talk a little bit about what are the steps or measures that people who want, like we have a lot of forest therapy guys on this call who are naturally very interested maybe in working with these populations, and we have possibly also already professionals that work with these populations that might be already like yourself, you know what you need to look out for. You know what you need to look out for. So for somebody who hasn't worked with these populations, who still hasn't seen the educational materials and will be listening to us or are listening to us now, what would you say are important steps to take in order to create the safe environment to that they feel secure? Because I don't know, I feel for myself, and I'm still not an older adult, but I feel more fragile in certain things in my life where before I wasn't. So I think there are some fragilities that we need to somehow take care of. Can you speak about that?
Yeah. First, the way when we did the invitation for them to do the walkings in forest, the first thing that they asked, where are we going? So we explained that we are going to this place or the other place, and we have to walk a lot. It's one question. We have to climb a lot. So for this population, we have to take care where we are going to do the walks. It's the first thing that we have to look, because they are afraid of hurt themselves. A fall in older people, it's very, very dangerous. So they have to be secure about what we are going to propose to them. And we have to explain in a very careful way that we have attention of that. So it's the first thing that we have to look, is to do the invitation, explain everything that we are going to do, everything. We don't need to give them a lot of details. And then be careful about where we are going to do that. And we have to respect the fragility of each of this population. And but it's easy. It's not. It was not very complicated to find out that place, and then take care where they are going to sit in the forest. And we take some. How do we call it? Banks. It's not.
It's benches or stools.
Or stools for them to. We have to have that for them, because some of them, several of them, are not going to sit in the floor. So we have to take care where they are going to sit, and take care about the floor where they are going to walk, and not so large walks. Do the dynamics all around the same spot, more or less. And I think it was the main things, and the final ritual, they love it. The ritual, the tea and everything. In the end, it was amazing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the tea.
The tea, and with the small details, and Geeta, it's amazing in details. And take care of kind of the tea, take care of the cups, take care of the
berries and cookies and
dark chocolate. That small details, that is not a huge investment. You can do it very cheap, but the details are amazing, and they appreciate the details, because it's something that we are take care of them. Yeah. We organize something special for these old people, and they are not used that the people take care of these small details. So
Yeah.
small details for old people is very, very, very important.
Beautiful. And Mariana, so thinking about, I mean, the aim of this project, of the Accessible Forest Project, is to bring these meaningful nature connection experiences to populations who would otherwise not have access. Not only because maybe, you know, they have financial barriers, or because they are alone and they are isolated, but also that they don't know that these type of activities exist, and that, you know, and maybe also the professionals that work with these populations also don't know that these practices exist. So from your experience, both with, you know, your extensive experience with Make-A-Wish, and now, you know, your interest and also your studies in this population, what you have been working with Alegria de Viver, what would you recommend as strategies to get this practice known to these people, to these populations, and also to the professionals that work with them?
Among the oldest population, I think the best thing to do is to have the old people as ambassador of the walking forest, or the forest walking. I think that, as we have done here, start with a small group, then the small group speak with other people and explain explain that they love it, they enjoy it, and then bring more people. I think it's something in the beginning is going to be a little bit slow, but as soon as we are doing more and more, we are going to reach all the people here around Alegria de Viver and all around a small village. I think the old people are ambassadors, are the best ambassadors to increase the visibility of the walking the forest, the walking forest, and for the other professionals, I think that we should invite the other institution, other professional to be with us in the walkings. I think it's the best. Then we can send a newsletter to all the organization that working with old people, saying here it is what we have done, here it is the impact, have some testimonies in the first
person,
older people, sorry, in the first hand, and I think it's important to send photos, to send testimonies in the first hand, and invite professionals to be with us. So ambassadors, yeah, sorry.
And also, now that you are speaking, something like came for me, which is a lot of this isolation of these populations is, and I don't know if this is, and you probably know this better than me, if this is the same for every country in the world or across Europe, but in Portugal, we see a lot that these elderly people are put in homes, and the children hardly ever visit them. So I'm wondering what would happen if we could extend this experience not only for the older adults, but also including the family. Intergenerational.
I think it's going to, I think it will work. And we can explain, we can try here in Lisbon if you wish, because we are working with a lot of schools, because we believe that we have to work with them to build a better society, to speak with them about other people, about the respect, about the valorization of other people. And so I think it will work, and it's going to be very useful, not only for older people, but for the kids to interact with other people in a natural way, because I think that we can fight against aging if we join all the generation, but in a natural way. And with the walkings, I think that we can try. I would like
Let's
to try.
try.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good next step.
Yeah.
And also, I'm curious what your feeling or what your observations were in this project. We took them, and it was always the same group of people. We took them to different locations every time, and also different seasons of the year. What did you notice? Because one was an urban garden, one was a forest, but full of pines and with the sands on the ground. And then we went to a forest in Sintra. We had lunch together, and it was a more dense, mossy forest. And then the last one we went, it was autumn, so also the changing of the color. What did you notice?
I think that they all love the 4 walkings, so it's but I think the one in Sintra, in the dense forest, it was the one that they have the best rememberings. Yeah, because it was something completely different from the day-to-day of them, because they never walk there in Sintra. So it was something that, and with the lunch that we have there, it was something very special for them too. So I think if we can have the possibility to do a meal for the Portuguese, it's very, because Portuguese love meals. So I don't know if it's going to be all around Europe, but for us, the meal is something that they remember. After the walk, they sit and then have a meal all together, where they can share what all kind of emotions that they felt all around the morning. So I think it was the florist, because it was completely different of the day-to-day that they have, and help them to remember the old life that they have when they were kids, when they was to live outside Lisbon. So I think it was a very good moment in Sintra.
Beautiful. Anything else that you have felt about, what you have observed about this interaction that you would like to share? Any ideas that have come up for you?
I think that with these walkings, they feel relaxed. It's like it's a walking meditation, and they felt that all of the group live here in Lisbon with a lot of noise, a lot of stress, and when they go to outside Lisbon, or even in Lisbon in a park, they can stop, breathe, and feel all the sensations, feel all the body, and be with themselves and with all the group in a very intimistic way. It builds relations, it builds communities, no doubt.
I was remembering that in our talk about the psychiatric patients, one of the things that Inês, the accessibility expert for the mental health, she said is that mental health population, because of medication and because of their pathology, the willpower or the volition to do something. One thing is something is organized and they come, but to be sitting at home and say, okay, I'll go to the garden or I'll go to the park is difficult for psychiatric patients. And I'm curious what you feel is with the elderly population, and if you've noticed that even though there's no organized walks right now, if they are spending more time outside, or if they are maybe instead of meeting in the market, maybe meeting in the gardens, or how we could also create some incentives around that.
Yes, I think that we have, after the walks, because we have done 4 with, everything. I think that after a walk, they tend to do that, but then they forget to do that. So the next walk that they have done, they went to a gardener near, but then in the day-to-day, they forget to do that. We have to have an habit, create a new habit, and create a new habit. I think that we have to promote more walking in forests, forest walkings, and we have to create an habit because it's easier for them to walk around the city. It's easy. It's easier. Let's go. Okay. To go to a park, they have to walk a little bit more. But if we go several times, I think that they are going to create an habit and start walking in more parks. And here near the house, we have a lot of parks because we have Jardim Botanic, we have the one where we have done the walk, but we need to create habits because they want that, because after the week after the walk, they aim to do it again. So I think so.
Yeah, that's interesting because again, that's the same theme that appeared with the mental health population as well, which is the creation of a habit. And I think it's the same for us. It's
Yeah.
not only
Yeah.
if you have a mental health situation or if you're an older adult. It's also for us, we need to cultivate a practice, build community, and bring and give more deliberate time of being in nature to ourselves, actually, for this relationship. Yeah, so beautiful. Anything else you would like to share, Mariana, before we open up to the audience for any questions or reflections?
What I like to say is that it's more easier to start than you thought. You think about that. Try with a small group with 8-10 old people or 8 old people and try to do that. Think you have to plan to know exactly where to go, to be careful about the floor and about the weather too. Here in Portugal, it's important for us, and start, because I think the impact is going to be very, very strong for these people that don't have anyone around them, that they feel real loneliness, and we can make the difference.
Great, beautiful. And I'd like to open up to the audience if anyone has any questions for Mariana. So there's a question: did you advertise this program as an outdoor walking program or something else? Nature connection or forest bathing?
Now we speak about forest walkings, and if they ask us what is it, we explain. But it's important to remain with what we are going to do.
Any other questions or comments? Anybody wants to open up the mic? And so Elizabeth asks, I'd love to approach a local home. Can you suggest how? How to approach a local home?
Yeah, great. I think that you have to have a meeting with them. Try to have a meeting with them and explain what we do. Have everything planned, and try to with a small group. It will depend what is the level of fragility of the people that are at home, and try to do with a small group. And if everything works, try to increase a little bit more. But you have all the documentation about the impact. You have photos about what we have done here in Portugal, good photos, amazing photos, and the impact. And I think it's going to be easier.
Great. I would also suggest to offer a walk to the decision makers. also, because that also helps them to understand what it is. Sometimes with this type of practice, to explain it, people have their own stories in their heads. And when we can offer the experience, they're like, maybe this will be really good for them.
Yeah.
You know, if they feel it themselves. And also there's another question here, more questions coming. So one is, do you sometimes also bring the forest or the nature into their homes for the ones who cannot even go out or in inclement weather?
No, we have, until now, never done that, but perhaps we can try to explore that with virtual reality. Try to do that, perhaps, why not? But it's going to be a future project.
Yeah, I think people do that already. Some places in the world, they're using virtual reality for people to connect. But I think in Katarina's question, it was maybe more bringing plants inside and bringing
Okay.
textures and smells for that sensory connection. I think, Katarina, I know you, and I think maybe that was your question. I know of some projects, not necessarily with elderly people in Japan, where working with people with depression, which sometimes also happens in the elderly, they bring a tree in a vase, but small. They plant a seed together, and the therapist, every week they come and they take care of the seed so that the tree grows. And at some point, the tree is too big for the vase, so they have to come outside of the house to plant the tree. So there are some approaches where that is happening. From Elizabeth, I have guided staff first, casting vision and demonstrating what it is like. They want it for their residents. Yeah.
Yes, good idea. Yeah.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And from Jillian, I'm curious if any of these participants experience dementia, and if not, would you consider inclusion of people with dementia and their caregivers?
Yes, yes. I think it's going with their caregivers. I think it's going to be good for the person with dementia and good for the caregivers. So it's a good idea.
Yeah. So the participants we had in
No,
Alegria de Viver, none had dementia.
no.
There were some with some varying
Small.
degrees of depression,
No.
some more than others.
Mm-hmm.
And being in the different walks, I could feel that sometimes they were a little bit more down, sometimes they were a little bit more up, but that the walks always had impact on them for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. And here's from Emma. I work in a long-term care home and as a horticultural therapist and forest therapy guide. And most people participating are living with dementia. Nature can be a normalizer and enjoyable for family visiting to engage together. Thank you, Emma, for that reflection and that teaching. Yeah.
Good.
I've worked with creating, not necessarily in a care home, but creating near forest environments where I've had some trees and a basket of textures and smells and sounds, and to create a sensory experience of being in the forest. And I remember particularly having the older adults there, the elderly there, and to witness how easily they drop in. Now I think there's also something of the bridge between being in their head and thinking, and being in a fast-paced life is less with the older adults. I think they're closer to being a child and more innocent and surrendering than a normal adult, for example, I found. Yeah. Beautiful. I wanted to show some photos. So I'm just going to share my screen and show you some photos of, this is that photo of the circle that I shared in the beginning, that I talked about in the beginning. So this was we all held hands. This was the first sharing circle where we shared a leaf around the circle and everybody could say a few words about what they were noticing. Let's see what we have here. This is them walking through the forest. This was a very special moment where this woman really spent some time with this tree. You remember, Mariana?
Yes.
Yes.
Was amazing.
Yeah. This was when I invited the participants to make a owl call, to call the other people back. So this was also a funny moment, and they don't have any they don't feel shy about doing these kinds of things. I think also with age we lose the filters and Mariana, sorry. And this was again at the end of the walk when we held hands again. I think this was during one of the invitations. And if anyone has any more reflections or questions that you want to ask, we still have a few minutes. This was a texture gathering invitation, so that we're exploring with textures and bringing back textures to share to each other. Here's Mariana with Maria. She's one of the oldest one in Alegria de Viver. How old is Maria?
I think it's 89 or 90 now, perhaps.
Elizabeth, go ahead.
I was just going to share about an opportunity I had. I was invited to a retirement community here in Pennsylvania to share with a memory loss group. And they meet weekly, and it was my first time, and I was really nervous. But I brought a basket of goodies and, kind of nature, all kinds of nature objects and everything. And it went so well. And just what you were saying, Geeta, they just seemed more open. So this was 6 couples, married couples, and one member of the partnership had dementia. So it was just beautiful to see the couples interacting. And I actually gave an invitation for them to introduce themselves to the land. And 3 participants went and stretched out in the grass in this park on the ground. And the things that were shared, especially by one gentleman who had the memory loss issue, was just beautiful. It was profound. I mean, he really expressed a lot of love of nature. And so it was very, very, very positive. So don't be afraid. Work your work and let the forest do the magic, right?
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I think we're coming to the end of our time. I'm going to hand it over to Elisa. Thank you, Mariana, so much for being here and for accepting to be in this project and trusting the accessible forest and everything you have contributed also to the educational materials. Next week we get to see them and to go into the forest together.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Geeta. Thank you, Mariana. And I was watching this picture, and then like old people like keeping hands and standing in the circle, and then I was thinking that I would like my old age be this way. That I'm like, surrounded by people I like, that there is nature around. And I also got very touched, Mariana, by this picture of you with this elderly lady, Maria, because this like height difference is so big, but then like, yeah, it's really amazing. So I think like you do amazing job. I mean, all of you do, but then yeah, I'm very much moved. And thank you, Geeta, for mentioning the educational materials. I think this is very important message to pass to people, but starting from Monday, on the project website, accessibleforest.com. There will be lots of amazing and very insightful educational materials, including publication, podcast, templates, and then like links to the videos. So whoever is watching this now, just go there and make use of it, because there was like 2 years of hard work of all these people here. So just like spread the word and then use it.